Okay, so now we're going to get into tried and true reason number 3, which is the skipped gradient. I'm going back over here. Can you guys read this, by the way? Does it make sense when I'm writing this down?
It's just a little hard to see.
It's hard to see, huh? Let me get the black one.
Would you like somebody to write it down for you? You don't have to go back.
Well, this is the last time.
Okay.
This is the last time. This is probably easier for everyone to see, huh?
Yeah, better.
Okay. Okay, this last one is called the skipped gradient. In study, this lends itself to the field of what we call doingness. And as a writer, you really do a lot. It's okay. You're constantly doing, so this really applies, I think. What do we mean by gradient? Gradient is a step-by-step approach. If I wanted to get to that board over there, I have to walk all the different steps to get there. This, the next time you're putting together some child's toy or some bicycle or something like that, and you just feel like frustrated, I can't do this. Again, there's physical phenomena that kind of go with this, with this particular barrier. You feel a little spinning, like you're kind of reeling, If you feel like that, you've got a skip gradient. Now, it applies in lots of different ways to writing. This is the one that bails me out every single time. So I'm going to spend a bit of time on this one. Skipped gradient means you've bypassed it. Do I have to? How much? Okay, good. Skip gradient means that you've gone too fast, too soon. You've got your hero and heroine in bed, and they just barely met, or they don't know anything about each other. Maybe if you write erotica, you want that. I don't know. But for you and your story and how that's going, you've gotten somewhere too fast. You need to go back and fill in the steps. Okay? It'd be like, I used to have a little box drill that I would do for students. And what I would do is I'd send around these little directions to make a box. Okay? But I would omit one step. It doesn't even have to be big, just omit a step. No one could make that box go together. And so then you do the whole drill again with the step put in there, and suddenly you can make a box, paper. Sort of like Japanese folding. Okay, the skip gradient. Well, how does this apply? Okay. In the book, which book was that? The Spirit of the Wolf, which was 2 books ago, or 3. 1, 2, 3. I lose track. I just actually do lose track. I think it was 3 books ago, The Spirit of the Wolf. And I was writing away, and I got into the situation where the characters were like, we're not doing anything, Go ahead. Just ignore us. Go ahead. And I didn't really realize that I was in writer's block. I just kept writing away, okay, but I can make them do it. Some authors do that. They make their characters do what they want. And if you write like that, that's okay, but I find that I like to have the characters solve their own problems. Okay, so I kept making the characters. So, you're not going to do this. You're not going to, no. And what it was I finally realized, okay, I have writer's block. Oh my gosh. After a couple weeks of this. And I write under deadline. I don't have 2 weeks to mess around. Okay, so I went back to where I was doing well. And right at the tail end of that, I found that the hero and heroine wanted to make love. And I said, there's no way. You guys just met. I'm not letting you. No, this is not right. And then I tried to write on past that, and they were like, okay, go ahead, right away. Has nothing to do with us. And really, it was forcing them. I was forcing them, forcing them, forcing them. And so finally, I realized, okay, you know what? I didn't let the characters be who they are. You create the characters. And once you create those characters, you endow them with life. Have you noticed this? Has anyone else noticed this? Please raise your hand that they come to life. They live and breathe. And they should solve their own problems. And they wanted to make love. And here I am, like little Miss Prude going, So I went back. I sort of went, oh, okay. All right, you can do it. But what I did was I filled in the gradient. You see, it was out gradient for me. And I knew it was going to be out gradient for a reader. The characters were there, as so often happens in life. Have you noticed that in life? You can be walking down the street, hit by this, hit by that, the car, shock, all kinds of surprise. That's life, not a book. In a book, you have to take your reader. Your reader has to go with you step by step by step. Because otherwise, it becomes unreal. Now, you don't have to agree with me on this, but I'm just telling you that as a reader, if an author suddenly jumps ahead, she'll lose me. My attention will go on to the mechanics of how she's writing instead of on the story itself. So what I did was I went back and I fixed it. I went back to where I was doing well. I got all kinds of reasons why these two were coming together and reasons that made sense so that a reader reading it could go, well, of course, it's the most natural thing in the world. Of course they would be doing this. It's natural, and I made it okay, and so they were happy and I was happy, and then the story went on, like magic. But again, the trick is to go back to where you're doing well and look at the tail end of that. Usually the problem lies right at the tail end of where you were doing well. Now this also applies in another way on the skipped gradient. Who was I reading the other day that just didn't take me there? I can't remember, but I was reading a book the other day, and the hero suddenly was in a different place and in a different time, and I didn't know how he got there or why he got there or what was going on or why wasn't he here, and yet the story went on from there, and I'm so like, I'm going back and flipping through and wait a minute, how did this happen? Your readers are everything to you. To lose a reader is a reader that you won't ever get back again. And so you don't want to lose your readers due to losing them in the story. And so you need to always think when you're writing about the people who are coming, who are going to be picking up that book and reading it, and is this going to be real? Are they going to understand? Are they going to like what's happening? Are they going to be able to follow the hero and what he's doing and why he's doing it, and the heroine and why she's slapping his face? If she slaps his face, don't just make it mean, or she's being mean or something like that. Give her a reason. Maybe it could be anything. It could be a misunderstanding. It could be anything. But again, you have to go back. I know I'm going over and over this, so forgive me. You go back to where you're doing well. Look that over. Look for what it was. It could be anything. I first look for a misunderstood word. I then look it over and I sort of go, okay, well, what's going on with this story? I know one author told me that she went back once and found that the characters, that she was telling it from the wrong point of view. It needed to be from the hero's point of view instead of the heroine. I do that sometimes in love scenes. I do them from the wrong point of view, and go back and fix it. Oftentimes that'll make the love scene even better. Or sometimes you can flip back and